Yeah.
So then at what point did you meet ET? And did you meet more than one kind, or was it always sort of one specific race
Well, it's
that you
again
dealt
with
with?
hindsight. So obviously, from a toddler all the way through, I thought, because it wasn't in my understanding the word ET. I mean, back in the day, and from our days, you notice how I say our, so I'm not on my own here. That wasn't in the 3D reality or anything.
No, it
So
wasn't.
because I was experiencing what we call dead people, I thought the what I called I thought they were midgets or something like that, but were dead people. That it wasn't in my awareness. So it started in childhood, and even when I was having like what you would call training in dreams, like I was being shown how to be a human, how concepts work, and all the other things I was shown. I never really, it was as it was coming in, I always knew there were beings, and I think I tended to think they were angels as a child, more so than anything. I knew they were different to dead people. But these beings also showed me how to do rescue mediumship from a Homo sapien that's gone to the next timeline and hasn't realized its past because of the shock or the trauma. So I saw them as angels because there was so much love, obviously. It wasn't till later on in life, in increments, that when extraterrestrials, the word, the pictures, the drawings, Whitley Strieber, did I realize, which crashed my reality at the time, that, oh my gosh, they've been there from the very beginning. So it wasn't until later on. I was like I hear everyone say it, and I'm going to have to agree, it's like a training ground. It's just a training ground. But that's only with hindsight, Karen, can I say that now. At the time, no idea. It was just my reality. I could do things and see things. But when I was younger, I'll give you one experience. Even at the time, I didn't know who it was. The midgets were at the bottom of the bed. And it was the same process. And I'd always face the wall, and I'd roll over, and they'd call my name, and I'd look down the bed and I'd go, no, not again. But I was familiar with them, and I would play like a game, a child's game, and I would hide. And then I hear Gloria, and I turned, and the two were still there, closer. And I go, no, I don't want to play. And then I don't remember no more. So it was very much like that. My interaction with them, I think it must have been more of a game at that stage, before the heavy information come in later on. Yeah.
Wow, that's really exciting. So was it always the same kind of beings, or was there different kinds of beings that we hear about today?
There's been the ones that I called angels. The teachers, I call them angels, but they may not have been. It's my label, my understanding. But they were definitely like creator gods, I could call them now. They understood the reality I was coming in, and like they were showing me how to interact and become. Obviously the greys, I paint them. I've been painting them for years. There were small greys, tall greys, creamy greys.
This is a different group than the ones that you accepted as angels. Then what is that? What you're saying?
Totally different being.
Okay. Can you switch over and tell us a bit about what happened with the greys that gave you an awful taste in your mouth? And was it a bad experience? Or?
Well, it wasn't a bad experience. I was unaware that I was experiencing these greys until I saw the cover of Whitley Strieber's book, the picture.
Yeah.
That just destroyed the whole of my reality. The fear, the panic. I did at some point attempt suicide and failed. That was the only fear I experienced, was to acknowledge, because it shattered my whole identity, my whole truth. Everything was a lie, and I was still very young, as in, I don't know how young I was, but I was still very young. That was the only terrors I had. But straight after that, it seems everything had already been implanted in for me to use discernment. So then I went on my journey, my search. I became a Christian, I became a Muslim, I became a Buddhist, I became everything you can think of, studied quantum physics. And the more that I kept searching, this urge to find home, it was like to find home. I always said, I don't belong here, I need to go home. Then I understood started to understand what the experiences were about. And over the period of time, I realized they were preparing me. I had come in, agreed, and they were preparing me and helping me to be human, to experience what was coming. I never had a negative, I can't recall, a negative experience. And the sort of analogies that I give when people talk about being paralyzed, I've never said paralyzed. I have an understanding that when they come, they put my consciousness, the physical aspect of my consciousness, into a certain vibration, and they calm down the emotional and the psychological areas. I can see them, there's no fear, but I feel no trauma, I feel no pain, and I don't even use the word, I'm paralyzed, I can't move. It never ever come into to my reality. So I have an understanding of what the process was about, so to speak, if that makes sense to you. Yeah.
Oh, it totally does. I'm just wondering, another question I have is, why do you think that some of us are chosen and some of us aren't? Or is it that people don't remember? Or what's your take on it? Because I have similar experiences, and I don't think I'm any kind of an extraordinary human being. You know what I mean?
I agree. That is a real difficult one to go into. However, it's come up a few times over the last year, and I realized if it keeps coming back, I need to go into it. At one point, when I was younger, I used to say I was an angel. Okay, I didn't know why I would say I was an angel, because that's the only thing I could relate to, anything other than 3D. And then, as with all the teaching I was given on how to do things with the planets or with science and astrology, it was like being in university. I had this awareness. I know this is going to sound egotistic, but it relates to everyone, not just me. You are the one. But I was aware that others were the one, because I'd seen them as well. So it was given it to me in the first stage through the identity. And it's very hard for the identity. If I don't like the word chosen, because it looks like superiority or hierarchical system. I think every Homo sapiens sapien is part of the puzzle. Some are doing one part, some are doing the other. And it's only the egos of judgment of another. However, I was aware that I was here to do something particular, but I was also very aware 30 years ago, I would meet others, and I was shown the path where we'd all come together. So yes, there is, I think everyone is consciousness. So if for my truth at the moment, when consciousness goes into self-realization and the shards come back in one by one, it's collective, universal, but it's a process. It's a play of form. So every Homo sapiens sapien, limited conscious being, will get there, but they'll come their way, their experience. It's the whole point of coming home from a different perspective. So it doesn't make anyone less or higher, but long way round. Yes, I was told I was the one at very early stages. Yeah, I couldn't deal with that. I thought that was egotistic. I'm not worthy. Here you go, the belief systems. And you start to work on that, and that dissipates. And when you say I'm the one, well, if I'm the one, you're the one. It's a different perception of I am the one.